So the Benos Zelophehad, these daughters, prove that tribe identity is only conveyed through a patrilineal descent, not a matrilineal descent. It proves the exact opposite. And believe it or not, missionaries frequently use Numbers 27 and 36 and ignore this completely. And I say this to you, my dear brothers and sisters, all you had to do was just look it up for yourself. Like, there's no magic here. There's not like, there's nothing fancy going on here. When you have the truth, the God of Israel, the Jewish faith, you don't have to be worried about these things.
Caller, you're live on the air. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Gus from Miami. I have a great question. Follow up. The lineage of Jesus. A lot of Messianics use Numbers 27 with the daughters of Zelophehad to state that Luke's genealogy is passed down by inheritance, but for some reason they don't understand that inheritance is actually property, not tribal lineage. How can he explain better that is what is happening on Numbers 27?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Go ahead and hang up now, Tony, for your answer. Thank you.
All right. So we have a case where we have a man named Zelophehad. He's from the tribe of Manasseh, and he had only daughters and no sons. He dies. So as we know, as we learned in the beginning of the book of Numbers, that tribe identity is only passed on through male, through the son, okay? We're not talking about Jewishness now, but tribe identity. In this case, what's the deal with Manasseh? Well, in this case, each tribe has a plot in the land of Israel. There is a part of the land of Israel that's set aside for each tribe. And as you figured out, that plot of land that's set aside for a certain tribe has to stay in that tribe. Now, that does not mean that people from one tribe cannot go and rent out a home in another tribe. We have many examples of that Tanakh. So a person could just go, I know I'm from the tribe of Judah, but I just feel like going north and hanging out in whatever, in Benjamin, or I want to hang out in Naphtali, Zvulun, whatever, in the north. You can do that, and you can rent a home. But it all has to revert. You can even buy a home temporarily, but it has to all revert back to the tribe. Okay, can't. Okay, so you got all that? That's the crisis there. These girls, brokenhearted, lost to dad, and they want to keep the portion in their tribe. They wanted to keep it in Manasseh. They didn't want it to be lost, but they only were a bunch of girls, no boys. So they come to Moses, and this was a dilemma. And just to wrap this all up so you know where this is going, they are then told that, if you want to keep your inheritance in your tribe, then what you have to do is marry a guy from your tribe. Now, so just so everyone knows, you don't have to marry in your own tribe. You can, but you can marry a guy from a totally different tribe. Okay, it's all as long as it's from the children of Israel. So the key is, what was the solution here? Each of these daughters have to marry a man from their own tribe, and this way the inheritance stays in the same tribe. And if they don't do that, if they marry somebody from the tribe of Shimon, which is buried in the middle of Judah, as an example, then you don't. So that the story of, I don't know why people are confused by this, and I strongly encourage you not just to look at Numbers 27, but also Numbers chapter 36, where we have the solution. Please, please, please read Numbers chapter 36, and you'll see that they were told that in order to maintain the inheritance in their own tribe, they had to marry men from their own tribe. Why? Because women can't convey tribe identity. You know, I know you're going to yourself, you're saying to yourself, holy smokes, that's so simple, right? But maybe this could be a moving portrait, an example of why it's so important to look at these texts and to look at the parallel texts. You have Numbers 27 and Numbers chapter 36. See these two chapters side by side. The solution is not that you get to maintain the inheritance by marrying a fellow from any tribe, but only if you marry a fellow from your own tribe, right? What does that show you? If tribe identity could be conveyed through the mother and not the father in some difficult case, then why do they have to marry men from their own tribe, right? So the Benos Zelophehad, these daughters, prove that tribe identity is only conveyed through a patrilineal descent, not a matrilineal descent. It proves the exact opposite. And believe it or not, missionaries frequently use Numbers 27 and 36 and ignore this completely. And I say this to you, my dear brothers and sisters, all you had to do was just look it up for yourself. Like, there's no magic here. There's not like, there's nothing fancy going on here. Just don't be afraid. When you have the truth on your side, you don't be frightened. If you're traveling on someone else's passport and going through customs, you have to be very worried. Why? Because you're lying. You have to keep track of all your lies. But when you have the truth, the God of Israel, the Jewish faith, you don't have to be worried about these things. It'll all resolve itself. But I do suggest that you go back to the original, read the text in context, see, in this case, the solution. And then you'll discover that these arguments and claims not only do not support Christianity or detract from the Jewish faith, chas v'chalila, on the opposite, it proves the truth and the beauty of the Jewish faith. Don't be afraid. Don't worry. Tyrus Hashem Tamima, the Torah of Hashem is perfect. Shivas Nofesh, it alone could restore the soul. Eidus Hashem Ne'emanu, the testimony of Hashem is what? Trustworthy, and therefore Machimas Pesi, that alone can make the foolish wise. And you remain in my prayers. Thank you for that thoughtful question.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה